This is Connecting the Thoughts, a place where women in health and leadership come to connect to their body, their truth, and their story. I'm your host, Megan, nurse, health and wellness coach, and creator of Rhythm Wellness. This podcast is a place to explore the stories behind strong women, the stressors they've carried, the pivots they've made, the ways their bodies have spoken to them, and the somatic practices that have brought them back into rhythm again. Today, I am joined by someone I deeply admire, Ashley Chancellor. She is both a nurse coach and the author of Just a Nurse, helping women reclaim their voice and rewrite their healing narrative. Welcome, Ashley.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Megan.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
So, we're going to dive right into it today. For those of you, the people that do not know you, let's start off by talking about how you got into nursing.
Yeah, I got into nursing right out of high school. I kind of didn't really know what I wanted to be.
Okay.
And I knew I wanted to help. I thought maybe a doctor or something,
Yeah.
and the opportunity came up for an apprenticeship.
Okay.
But I could only shadow a nurse.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so I put on my scrubs. I talk about it in the book, and I put on the scrubs that were way too big for me, and I shadowed a nurse. And it was really just that first, I think I had 6 or 8 weeks of shadowing, but that very first day I thought, well, this is what I want to do. I want to hang the IV bags. I want to listen to the patients. I want to be the one with them.
Yeah.
And I don't see a doctor around.
Absolutely.
And so, given kind of the life that I had come out of, it opened way to me going into community college and, just becoming a nurse as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Worked in the city and then started traveling after that.
Awesome. How was traveling?
I absolutely loved traveling.
Yes.
I loved traveling. Yeah. I talk about it a little bit in my book, too. The excitement of getting out of the place that I grew up in.
Okay.
Just seeing something different. I had spent 2 years in an ICU in the city that I had worked in Pittsburgh, and had really felt like, okay, I have a good idea of how a hospital does things.
Yeah.
But what's next?
Absolutely.
Before I left to go travel, ironically, I had enrolled in a massage therapy program because I would I'd found a lot of massage therapy healing in my past with an injury that I had. And it was one of the things I felt like was missing at bedside, like this hand-to-hand touch. This, like, so many people just aren't. They don't have blood flow. They're laying in these same positions for days on end. And so I had originally enrolled into massage therapy. The opportunity came up for me to travel, and I hitchhiked my way on out of that city as quick as I could. And so that was one of those forks in the road in my life.
Yeah,
absolutely. Full circle, I can see that I've come back and am back to like that holistic healing and back to really thinking about the human for more than just the patient in the bed.
Absolutely.
So that never left me. But getting to travel, I really did get to see how medicine is practiced across the country.
For sure.
I was looking for new answers, new directions, different ways that they were caring for patients. And while the patients changed vastly across the country, the care we were giving didn't really change.
Absolutely.
And the results weren't really any different.
For sure. For sure. So off of traveling, how did you get into becoming a nurse coach?
Ooh, okay. So I finally decided to settle down after about 9 years of traveling, and I settled down January before COVID.
Okay. Beautiful.
And so, yes. After, I was still going to travel, but I was going to have like a home base and be a little bit more stable. But COVID hit, and I really felt compelled to serve the community that I lived in now, that I had like just bought this home in. This is where I was paying my taxes. This is the community, and they need a nurse.
Absolutely.
Who am I to go travel? And so I stayed in that community, and I found some wonderful nurses that I worked with there. But it really came through COVID, the burnout, the exhaustion, the detriment.
Absolutely.
And I had emotionally hit my peak.
Okay.
About 1.5 years in.
Yes.
And because I was a seasonal contract, I had asked to take some time off. They were not allowing people to take PTO or anything. I felt terrible asking for it, but I knew that like at the end of that contract that I had to take time off.
Absolutely.
And a week before that contract ended, I what turned into a pars fracture in my spine.
Okay.
But I had injured my back pulling a patient over at work.
Yeah.
And that is about the turning point for everything.
The turning point for everything.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
A lot. You've had a long career and a beautiful career so far, but definitely seeing that burnout, do you find that there were ways that your body was speaking to you before you actually had that injury, that your maybe mind didn't notice as much, but you could tell that, oh, okay, this was inevitable. Like, I know this was going to happen if I would have thought about it a little bit more. Did any of that come up in your body for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. When I talk about the injury from childhood, or from my younger years, it was a back injury at 15. I had herniated a disc, and it had already started to heal on its own by the time I had seen a physician and gotten scans, but it was healing with some bone spurs and all kinds of things, and they referred me to physical therapy. And when I went to the physical therapist's office, they happened to have a massage therapist there, and luckily I had people who cared enough about healing me and not just looking at codes. Because I remember her saying, like, well, this isn't really part of it, but this is what you need. And the massage, it was what I needed. I could feel the release in my back, and it could release my hips, and I could walk differently after these physical therapy sessions and these massage therapy sessions. So that was something I had done around the age of 15. My body, and I had overcome that. I feel like my physical therapy had strengthened. I'd gotten involved in yoga during nursing school, and I was doing things along the way to care for myself. Well, I didn't stay consistent.
The consistency. What were some of those things that you were doing for yourself?
Oh, yoga. I would do yoga anywhere I moved to, every new travel assignment, as long as this is pretty basic of me, but as long as I could find a Starbucks that I could hit on my way into work, a Target to get some stuff at, and a yoga studio, the city was going to be just fine for me to live in.
You were ready to go for it. For sure.
And so yoga was something that I would do often. I'm an outdoorsy girl. So anything to get me outdoor and moving.
For sure. Absolutely.
I would get trainers. I would pay for trainers here and there. But again, as a travel nurse, you pick up and move. So I'd have a trainer for a few months and then get on with life. And I did pretty well with my back for many years. COVID came, and I remember midway through COVID wanting to do the 75 hard challenge. And so I started running. Doing that.
For sure.
Great in my body, and I actually challenged myself to do a 5K. I ran a 5K.
You were setting goals, the bar higher. Absolutely. For sure.
It was wild. I had switched to day shift nursing at this point. I was a night shift nurse forever. I was losing my sanity. This was probably halfway through until my break.
For sure.
During COVID. But I could tell I was not doing okay. And so I begged to go to day shift, which they allowed for me to do. And then once I got on day shift, I really just fiend for that routine, which was where the 75 hard came in. And I was just hell-bent on, like, we are going to do this, and you're going to get your life in order.
Absolutely.
And then the running started, which turned into the 5K, and it helped a lot. I think I ran the 5K and maybe stopped running regularly. And I think that's probably, if I could go back and pinpoint, I think, like, I had done a lot to my body and then just kind of stopped caring for it. And it was the middle of COVID by that point. But I also think that the emotional injury was weighing on me physically too.
You could feel it. Like a weight. Absolutely.
And so then when I actually injured my back, which in the moment I thought I had pulled a hamstring. I'm pulling a patient over who's getting units of blood. Everyone's busy. I was already floated to a unit that didn't have enough staff. I was already writing 2 incident reports that night. I never reported my own incident because you were taking care of all the other. Why would I do that?
Why would you take care of you before you take care of everyone else? So you just kind of tried to brush it under the rug and hope that it wasn't anything serious. And then what kind of gave you the inclination that this is more serious? Like, there is definitely something going on. Was it at that shift at work, or was it a couple days later where your back was really like, this isn't a hamstring anymore?
I had 3 more shifts left, and I remember working those, like, constantly sitting in a chair and constantly asking for help and being very aware and taking ibuprofens and telling my peers were aware too. And they're like, babe, you got a couple more days, like, you're almost out of here kind of thing. And I remember thinking, I just need, like, a month off. I just need a month to, like, lay and rest. After about 3 weeks, now I can look back and I realize, with sound mind, like, my body had just tightened. And just everything froze.
Yeah.
And it just all got worse.
Okay.
To the point that I needed scans.
Yeah.
And I was so jarred by the healthcare system, I couldn't go to a hospital.
Okay.
And I think that was a lot of it too. COVID was still happening. I didn't want to be a part of the already enormous amount of weight that was coming in and out of the hospital.
Yeah.
I also understood very really the attitude from the employees who were in the hospital.
Yes.
Of your life's not critical right at this moment. Your back will be fine.
So you're going to just have to deal with it because there are more emergent extreme things going on. Absolutely.
Yes. Now, did that happen to me? No. I never went in. I never tried to be a patient. I never advocated for myself.
Okay.
But I knew what the inside looked like.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
Luckily, there was a chiropractor in town who was married to a physical therapist and had opened an office with some nurse practitioners, and he got certified. He became an X-ray technologist, so that he could do X-rays in office.
Okay, cool.
And so I found like this little holistic mom and pop shop essentially that did some chiropractic adjustments with physical therapy right then and there.
Yeah.
And he pulled. I talk about this at length in my book. He pulled my images up on the screen, and I originally had thought my friend was going to go with me. This is a place that I don't think people will talk about. I had originally thought my friend was going to go with me. I wanted somebody there for support. She was a nurse too. Yeah. There was some miscommunication. I ended up going in by myself, and here are my images of my spine. Yeah. Like 5 feet on the wall in front of me, and I'm seeing the fracture. I see the crooked spine. I see how off, and I can't sit.
Right.
I'm in this appointment, and I asked to stand against the wall because I was in so much pain I couldn't sit.
For sure. Absolutely, yeah.
And it was so much information, so much to take on when he laid out the fitness plan, when he laid out the improvement plan. And I remember he just paused and kind of looked at me and said, "You're going to be okay."
Yeah.
You know, but it was just so overwhelming.
For sure.
That what I thought I had pulled a hamstring, I was going to be back at it. I had to get back to work.
Of course.
My peers needed me. No one else was getting a break. Nobody else was taking time off. I didn't have time for this injury.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially the degree to what.
Right. To the degree that it is, the severity that it actually is. And so I can imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in that moment, seeing that was like, I have been saying this the whole time, and like what I'm feeling is real. It's not some made up thing where I'm just like, can't hold it all per se anymore, right? Your body was telling you couldn't hold it all anymore, but also your awareness was spot on, right? Like you could see that, and you just needed the answers from someone to kind of be like, this is what's going on. But there is a way out of it too. This doesn't have to be for forever. Yeah. It's a lot.
That gives so much hope to know. It was incredibly, for anyone out there that's had a back injury, it is just physically crippling and mentally crippling.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, your back and your hips, it kind of like oscillate between what was hurting that day. Like some people are like, "Oh, I thought you hurt your back," and you're talking about your hip, and I'm like, it is all one. If it's not the back today, it's because the hip is bothering me. Like it's all just so tight and like off kilter, and I could feel it all, you know, teetering back and forth, and it was just crumbling to think, could I ever be a nurse again?
Yeah.
Can I ever do anything with my body again? I can't even put on pants.
Capability.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a scary place to be in,
it was
too,
demoralizing.
Right? Very. I can only imagine. I'm like, for anyone that's ever had an injury like this, like, you have overcome so much, right? But it's like being in that place in the here and now sometimes is very scary, and not knowing what the answer is very scary. So, like, that is stress that your body innately is gonna be holding. And so while that was going on, did you feel like you were at a place where you wanted to go back into nursing, or you were kind of like, okay, and this is where you led into maybe doing massage therapy instead?
I felt so guilty that I was not at the bedside. I felt awful. And every other nurse was just as morally depleted as I was. They were just as run down as I was.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that I had a right to not be working next to them.
Yeah.
I write about it in my book. And I talk about just like that frustration of like, I want to be there. I want to be able to be there.
Yeah.
Those are my friends.
For sure.
That are there.
Yeah.
I want to support them.
Absolutely.
And I want to help the people that are in the hospital that have nobody coming in to touch them or hold their hand or pray with them or do any of the things, you know? But I couldn't. I physically couldn't, and I was emotionally so volatile, and that's a whole podcast on its own. I was a venomous snake. Like, there was nothing I was just in so much physical pain, and the emotional pain was pouring out. And because I couldn't walk, I couldn't move, I couldn't do much of anything, the way that I have used to heal in the past is to write. And so I started writing.
Beautiful.
And I talk about now, it's in the next book that I'm writing, is had I not had a fractured spine, I probably would have healed through cooking or through gardening or through running again.
Yep. Yeah.
But I couldn't. My body had stuck me right where I was. And I'd always been a little bit of a writer, so it was something, you know, that was kind of innate in me. But I say this to anyone, just because you can't get up and move does not mean that you don't have art and that you don't have a way to process things.
Creative outlets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
But my body still longed to move.
Yes. Especially because so young, right? Like, how old were you when this happened?
36.
Yeah. So still so young, you know, and to be dealing with that and knowing that you've had this career for, at that point in time, you've been a nurse for 10 plus years. Right? To go and then not be able to do what you so passionately love doing is like a huge halt. And I can imagine that you're spewing a little venom, right? Because that's a lot to hold. Like, this is who you are and how you like to serve and how you like to show up for other people. And if you can't do the one thing that's really lights you up and gives you that fulfillment and that's your passion, right? That's a hard place to be in. That's a super hard place to be in. So as you started to do that physical therapy and stuff, did you end up going back into the hospital then?
Ironically, so physical therapy led way to Bowen therapy with my naturopath, which is like a soft tissue kind of massage technique. And we started, you know, seeing each other regularly. Almost, you would kind of think about it kind of like going to a chiropractor. Like, until you're in line, then you think about going, you know, monthly. But you might go every week, every other week or something like that. Or if you're having a flare-up, you go. And we would get me really, really good, and I'd be feeling great. And I'd be walking, and I would sign up for a nursing job. And I would take a nursing job. And I would do my monthly checkups. And then before I knew it, I was crippled again. And I'd get on her table, and she was like, she always called it, she goes, she could touch my back, and she goes, oh, you're rock hard. And she knew that my tissues were inflamed. They were holding all kinds of tension. And she goes, if you look at my resume for that period of time, it was about every 6 months, 6 to 9 months. And I was still kind of in that traveler mentality. Like, if I'm not happy, I'm moving on. Like, I don't have time or energy to waste in these places. But it was also, like, it was physical pain. Like, it would come to a point where I'd go to see my doctor, and she's like, your job
is what is the issue.
And she could, and I could feel her touching me, and I'm like, I am harder. Like, it does feel really hard.
Like, you could feel the physical space
tightness.
That was holding that. Absolutely.
And so, I mean, she didn't sit me down in our first session and say, like, this is what's going to happen or any of it, but just, you know, that repeated going back over time, and it was like, wow.
The discovery.
Showing up as a nurse is physically affecting my body.
For sure. Would you say that was your kind of, every nurse or healthcare worker, if you will, I would think meets their day when they have their breaking point, right? Where they've had enough and they know that they can no longer keep heading down this road. Do you think that was kind of the place and time that you started to realize that? Or did that happen a little bit later on where you were like, the hospital is no longer serving me in the ways that it once served me?
I think I knew that early on. I think I knew it the day I injured my back, and I think I knew it a few times prior to that.
Yeah.
And it is a thought that I explore in my book, because there was a couple times where I wanted to make a career pivot.
Okay.
And I even did.
Yeah.
Only to turn back and go back to the intensive care setting.
Yep.
And I think just the position that my heart holds in the world is just one that I want to help.
Yeah.
And I want it to be, I want to help immediately. And at the end of every day, I would do these jobs and work in these corporate roles. And sure, I could, you know, work from my car, or, you know, get to go to fancy dinners, or whatever the perk of working Monday through Friday, whatever the perk of that job was. But I didn't feel like I was helping.
Yeah. I felt like I was still part of the system that wasn't making a difference. For sure.
And so that happened earlier on in my career, and I just kept going back to bedside because I could immediately help. Yeah. I was good at it. There's no feeling like doing CPR on someone and saving their life.
There is not. There is not. There is nothing that's going to give you the same. Yeah.
And I just want to say, for the alternate of that, there's nothing like holding someone's hand as they peacefully leave this world too. And just knowing that you were able to get family there, and you had a little bit of time, if it's only 3 minutes. Yeah. You gave this family and this person a little bit. Yeah. And it's really hard for me to find fulfillment in other careers. Yeah. And so I think when I broke, the day I injured my back was the day I was like, this is not sustainable. Yep. This is not okay. Like, something has to change. And then as I gradually went back and saw with my naturopath kind of the destruction that I was walking to a burning house every time.
Every time you were going back to it.
Every time, without an oxygen pack on my back.
Yeah. And then
just going in. And so it's been a really big struggle to stay away from it. It's a little bit of a drug. Yeah. I want a little bit of the chaos. I'd love to save someone's life again.
For sure.
That pours out in other ways. I definitely see myself meddling in my community and doing little nursing things around here and there to remember that I'm a nurse. But it's detrimental to my health. Yeah.
To be able to serve. You want to be able to serve and to be able to do that. And I can dare to say that also we've been, like you said, it's kind of like an addiction, right? We're so used to that adrenaline and being able to help someone in that time of need when you really are one of the only people on that team and part of that team that can help them. And it is a now or later. And then after that, when you do something that is good and does serve the patient, right? Now you're even riding that addiction train because now you're on that high of I just did something. Even though I was burning through the fuel of the adrenaline and everything through it, now I'm just riding out in those endorphins and all of that. And so finding that right and being able to shift that into a different way for us to serve is kind of where you have come to now.
Yes, absolutely.
And so please tell us how you got into a little bit more into nurse coaching.
So back to the coaching into it is after writing my book, you know, I was writing my book and my publisher kept saying, this is your business. And I thought, no. Yeah. This is not my business. I'm going to find some doctor that's opened a hospital somewhere and we're going to live happily and I'm going to just help people. And, you know, and then after the book came out, I thought, well, I want to help people. Okay. I want to help people with my book. And how do I do that? Yes. And I just was unofficially coaching other nurses. Nurses that were like, hey, I know you left bedside a couple years ago. Yeah. I know you were really, I know you were a shell of a human then. You look like you kind of got it together now, so.
Yeah, they want to know what that secret sauce was. That was like helping you to reclaim yourself, right? To reclaim your own rhythm. Yeah.
And so then I found a nurse coaching course. Okay. And while, you know, everyone will tell you nurse coaching courses are not required, I personally gained so much healing through the course that I don't think I could be a nurse coach without the course. Okay. Yes, you do already know how to coach people. It is very simple information that you get from it. Right. But just the healing that you can get from it, and then that allows you to be able to coach even better. And so my passion really is working with burned out nurses. It's something I understand. And it's not just nurses. It is teachers, it's mothers, it's high achieving women, high functioning caregivers.
Absolutely.
I actually work with a lot of men too, men that are willing to say, okay, I've hit my breaking points.
Right. Like something's got to change.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And my nursing background gives me the ability to look at someone clinically, you know, to look at the basics.
For sure.
Even as a nurse, I need somebody else.
Yes, you need someone. Yeah, we all need someone to be kind of. It's much different to look in the mirror versus to have that outside perspective to see like kind of full 360. You're only seeing one side in the mirror type of vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we do it even at bedside. You know that we do. We bounce ideas off each other. I'm like, hey, my guy's heart rate is ticking away. This is what I've given him. This is what I think I should give him. What do you think? Like
collaboration.
Why would we not want to do that for ourselves?
And rightfully so. You are so spot on. And that goes right back to your point, right? It's COVID time and you're thinking that your situation is not as severe as everyone else's, so you don't even acknowledge it. But it's like, you are also a human, and this is also detrimental to your health. It might not be the same aspect of a detriment to your health, right? But like, this is what you need for your body and for your sanity and your peace and all of the things, right? And so to be able to give that back to other people and to be able to help guide them, but also still learning through the practice of the work that you're doing. Like, yes, you know how to do this work, but you still are living it every day and incorporating it into your own lifestyle. I think that speaks volumes for the transformation that not only you have come across, right, but also how you serve other people. So wonderful, 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 wonderful. Now, how do your nurse coaching sessions, how do you kind of flow that for anyone that doesn't know who you are? Yeah.
So my nurse coaching, while I work on the burnout nurse or person, it's really all about getting back to that self-care. And that's a really weird place to, like, as an adult go, maybe I need someone to help me care for myself. But truthfully, I think that there are so many big things that we are just not handed down and so many tools that we can help, like, be productive humans. And the other thing I've learned is what's right for Susie Q is not right for John Smith.
Amen. Yes.
And medicine in America is blanket. Everyone gets the same antibiotics. Everyone gets the same protocols. Everyone gets the same everything.
Yes.
And I think for true transformational healing, it takes getting to know the person and who they are. And so, yes, I can look at, you know, your lifestyle choices, what you're doing there, and I can advise there, but also what are you doing with your mind? Where's your mind at? Is it in the gutter all the time? Are you just negative Nancy here, there, and everywhere?
Right.
Do you hate work and love your home life? Do you really just love going to the gym and hate everything else? You know, like, what is it that fuels
making you tick? Yeah.
And then getting back to that spirituality piece and really coming to terms of, like, what is it that you believe in?
Right.
And it doesn't have to be any grand faith. Do you believe in the goodness of humanity? Do you believe in your little corgi puppy?
Yeah.
Do you believe that, like, when you go to work tomorrow that you're going to impact somebody's days positively? And I don't think we put enough stock in our belief.
I wholeheartedly am with you on that. Yeah, totally. The belief is everything, right? Because if you don't believe it, how is anyone else going to believe it type of thing? So you really help people kind of self-explore and dive into where they're currently at, their present moment, and how they tick, right?
Yeah. And help them to see that. I don't have a way that you're supposed to tick.
Right, yeah.
And truthfully,
there's no agenda.
No matter what doctor you see, no matter what specialist, how good they are, they don't have a way that you should tick either. Yeah. It's going to come down to what works for you.
Right. Individual.
And so let's just meet you where you are, and let's help you self-discover. And I like the mirror concept. I think mirror is such a good way to think of coaching, but I also like to think, like, the mirror is a lot of that talking. But a lot of that also is me standing back to back with you. Yeah. So that I'm getting to see the stuff that you don't see.
For sure.
And I got it from over here, you know, and you do that with me so much in so many different ways. And I'm just really grateful for working with you too. And this is a great example of, I have found through my own strength and training that I plateau. Yeah. I plateau with what I'm capable of motivating myself to do. And in that case, I reach out for help.
Right.
I ask when I need something. I reach out and I say, hey, this is an area, yes, that I need strength in. This is an area that I'm not really good in. I know what the textbooks say.
Yeah.
I know that I should walk every day.
Yeah.
Because it's going to prevent heart attacks. I know that.
Yep. Yeah.
But what's getting me to do it? And just working with you is a great example of, we know that I know how to walk. We know that I know how to, do these things. But what we're really digging at are some deeper things I didn't even really think we would touch on. And it's just been really profound.
The deeper layers that you don't even think impact that whole picture is, it's just, sometimes we overlook them, and that's just me, right? And that's how I operate. But when we stare at it a little bit deeper, it's like, yes, it does, but does it serve me in the way that I want it to serve me, right?
Yes.
Or maybe I hadn't even thought of it that way, and now that I am, doesn't mean that that's how I have to necessarily look at it, right? But now I have two different ways to look at it, and now I can really decide, was it how I was looking at it before, or is it a little more like this? And now that has just opened a whole new box of different avenues that I can take this, right? And ways that I can work on things that I want to work on and achieve the goals that I want to achieve, so that I can come out on the other side just beautiful and better and all of that, right? So you do so wonderful, and also I love working with you so much. Thank you for being you. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for everything that you do. I think you really do take this, and where I'm coming from with that is, I know that you use this in your coaching because I see you show up right on a week-to-week basis, and you are even doing the things that we've talked about in practice. And then in turn, as you are being that and becoming that, right, you're now influencing and helping someone else to become who they are meant to be. But again, it's not even the same thing, right? Because you're both in different individuals, if you will. But again, what was the piece that individual needs? And I know that you already do this work, and I just see how much more you do with this work the deeper you dive into yourself too, right? You do so wonderful with this. I love watching you just bloom and blossom. And I know we haven't known each other that long, but you really do the work. It's so noticeable. And so thank you for being here to share this with everyone, because they also deserve to see how you do the work and how you show up. So yeah.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. There are days where I'm crying.
Yeah.
There are days where, there are days when I don't show up. And I that is something I really want to impress upon people. And I specialize with my clients is finding time to do nothing.
Yeah.
To rest. I don't know where we came up with the idea that being a couch potato is the most awful thing in the world, but a high achiever, if you tell them to sit down for the day, you've just offended them to the max. When your body taking rest really is so important. And so sometimes a lot of the work I'm doing with my clients is just helping them justify finding times to break and finding times to rest. So you had asked earlier what our coaching sessions look like.
Yeah.
Typically we open with a little mindfulness just to bring us back in, just to kind of open us up. And then we talk about anything that's on the forefront that day. But we're just talking about what blocks are happening. What goals did you want to hit?
Yeah.
Which ones did you miss?
Right.
How did you treat yourself about missing those?
That part, that piece. That piece. Yeah.
Same for me. I will tell you, no one in the world could be meaner to me than me.
I hear that.
And I don't know if it is self-protective or what.
Right.
But it's also exhausting. It's so exhausting. I'm
it serves you till it doesn't serve you, right? Yes, it might protect you from the scary things that you think might happen, but also it's hiding you away from all the beautiful, wonderful things that could be coming your way. No, I completely hear you, see you, feel that, because it's not easy. And if it was, everyone would do it, right? But the more we try to just, I guess, put our attention towards that, right? And just work on it a little bit more, we do take one step in front of the other. We do take one step in the other. So when you are kind of going into your coaching sessions and you start out with that mindfulness, do you ever find a place where your clients kind of, not a push back, but almost where there's a little resistance to the work, if you will, where you find that them trying to release their stressors is a little more difficult said than done type of vibe?
Yeah, honestly, yes. This is a huge psycho road we could go down, psychoanalysis road. I actually feel that people avoid.
Okay.
Avoid. And so they come and they're usually upset about something totally different.
Yeah.
Totally unrelated, and then you're like, okay, but what about this one thing that you kept Oh, well, it's just not.
Right, yeah.
And lots of times that annoyance avoidance is what's causing the annoyance somewhere else in people's lives. But
like almost a cross correlation where it's like a same but different type of feel. Yeah.
And this is not where I'm meant to make anyone feel stupid or dumb. That is a natural response to ignore the thing that's causing you a lot of stress, because we live in a very high stress environment.
Absolutely.
And that's just my environment. I don't have kids and a part-time job and an aging parent that I'm caring for. Like, you add all of that on, I totally understand.
A lot on the table,
why people are avoidant. And that's where I really get to with coaching. Like, someone can tell you your problems all day long.
Right, yeah.
How do we get through that now?
What is the work that we're doing for this?
And not that we have to look at that. Great, let's keep it in the box for now. But it's obviously bothering you.
Yeah.
What do we do to, like, stop it from rattling you? Let's, start looking at that. Or let's make some other area of your life a little bit shinier, so that it can counterbalance.
Yeah, for sure.
And so just give a little bit of perspective. But I would say and I think it's all of us, right? That's the whole reason to get a coach and to have the mirror and to have that self-reflection, because we do avoid the places that are scariest. And it leads me right into what I'm co-authoring my next book about, which is hope, but also getting into community. And it's getting into community is so important, and it doesn't have to be an 18 people once a month community group. It could be a workout partner. It could be a workout coach. It could be a self-empowerment coach. It could be a writing coach. A community is 2 or more.
Yes, it's a support system around you, and that does not have to be the same reflection at all in the mirror. Yeah.
And is your support system going, hey, pick up overtime so you can come work with me and be miserable?
Right. Or are they actually supporting what best for you?
Yeah, is your support system, hey, like, I know you need the night off, so make sure you take the night off. I sent you some DoorDash. We're going to pick up the kids in the morning. You're going to have some time off. I love you.
Right.
There's a very different type of friend
between someone adding a stressor and someone taking a stressor off of your plate. And I think that is where that community comes, because it's not always going to be 50-50 either, right? Like, there's a give and a take, but like, some days someone can show up 80 and someone can show up only 20, right? And so if the person that can only show up 20 and you're saying, give me the rest of your 20 today, like, is that necessarily the best support for you? Because now you're on E type of situation here. So that's a huge revelation.
Stay tuned for our hope assessment that's coming out, because we actually put a score to our hope, and just like that, where you're coming in 0 out of 10. If you're coming out of 2 out of 10 on your hope score, the rest of the team needs to not ask anything of you today,
right?
Because you're just hanging on by a thread, and you're here, and we're grateful you're here.
Right.
Thank you for choosing to come to save lives today.
Yeah.
Here's an extra drink of water. But it perplexes me as to how we've built such a community of anguish rather than support within our hospitals.
Yeah.
But I think if we can start supporting each other well outside of the hospitals, that will ripple over. We become examples. That all starts to rub off.
No, I love that you say that, because that is something we see a lot, is like, everyone has their own lives and they're living their own situations, but the people that it's so evident that, and not in a bad way, right? But if you can't leave it at home and now you're taking it with you other places, that is a very clear indicator that it's a little too heavy then. It's a little too heavy, because instead of holding it, right, and processing and dealing with how we need to, now we're throwing it at everyone around us so that we don't have to take that on. And so being able to bring that to someone's awareness and just kind of like, does this serve you or does this take more away from you? And just bringing that into like full picture, right? Because I can imagine when you bring that into more like a zoom lens for your clients, a little shell-shocked almost, like they didn't even understand or like see it before. And that's where the beauty of working with a coach comes in, right? Is that
strengthen.
Yeah, exactly. It's a team. And right back to your community, like, we are here to support people and we are here to come together, and like, we want the best for them, right? And so how do we get you there, and what things do we need to implement so that we can get you there? So with implementation, what are some things that you kind of, as you're diving into these situations with your clients and where they're at currently, do you have any practices that you use with them? Like, I know you said meditation, you take them through a couple different ones. Would you like to dive any deeper on any of that?
It really just is kind of fitting for the situation. Sometimes it's just a matter, I can tell someone is like just stopped in their car, they're just, and it's just a matter of calming them down.
Okay. Yeah.
And for some people, they want to work on something, maybe that block.
Okay.
You know, maybe that thing that's in that box, and, that day we need to work on some courage or whatever it is that they want to instill and bring to the forefront. And I think that meditation and mindfulness, think about it what you will, but there's so much research at this point for anyone to just call it woo-woo or hippie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your state of mind and the things that you think can change the next steps that you're about to take, and they can be very intentional. And I think that we all just write it off as something not very serious. And so it's not the main practice in my coaching sessions, but it's definitely something I like to bring people to, that if they want to, work on some courage or freedom or creativity or whatever it is they want to instill and work on, we can do that.
Yeah.
So, and I never like for anyone to, if you've ever gone to therapy and you leave after therapy or even the Zoom call and you're just like, you feel like wounded.
Yeah.
I don't, and I never want anyone to leave my situation. So sometimes at the end of a call, we will do a little collective breathing just to kind of heal some of that, because you never, it's never nice to feel frazzled. And sometimes we do. Sometimes you rip off the Band-Aid.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
Sometimes you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, that has been my fault.
Right.
For my entire life.
Right.
Oh, I see it now. And that's,
And again, that's just like being able to look at it. And this is the beauty of coaching, right? Is it's a safe container to explore you, that it's like half the battle of not doing the work is because it is so scary to do the work. You don't know what the outcome is going to be for that. Am I going to put all my time and energy into this and be in the same place I was before? Or am I going to do something and then it leads me into a whole new world that I was not even expecting to explore, right? And it doesn't have to be that either, but there's so many options because there is so much there to discover and explore.
Potential.
Right. Like there is so much potential. And so that can be scary, but and I think this is where it comes back to that bedside manner, right? And that care and that nurturing for people and how you show up for them and serve them, is you create that space to let them know that whatever you want to dive into right now, the floor is yours, and like I'm here for you to help you work through that. So that is absolutely wonderful and beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think a lot of working in the hospital, and we have this problem. People know this problem. You don't go to the hospital until it's an emergency.
Yeah.
And what do you do before then? You go in to see your physician, and you just get referred to specialists, and everything's just kind of not a big deal until it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And there's a big gap where people need supported. And I think just the way you said it there, like, I want to heal your sickness. Sure, if you're in the hospital, I would deal that. But, like, what other place do you want to self-explore as a human being in a safe container? What other place do you want to hang? Like, how do you want to get to know yourself with someone who, like, I'm going to like you no matter what?
Yeah, right.
I just genuinely enjoy humans. I genuinely want whatever they want for themselves. I want to cheer them on. And so how can I hang out and, like, cheer you on as you get to figure out? My goal is to not work with you forever.
Right.
I want you to have tools. Bye.
Yes.
Have fun.
That is something I definitely resonate with. I'm always, not forever. It's until you feel ready and confident to do this on your own, and then you can take this into your own hands. And until that time comes, though, I'll keep working together and I'll keep being here to support and help you and educate and all of that, right? But there is a goal that you should be able to do this on the other side, right? Like, there's also an intention with the session, is that you're helping them through those scary things, and you're helping guide them into whatever goal or, wish that they have to fulfill, and getting them there. That is the beauty of the work. That is the beauty of your work. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you find that most of your clients come to you are dealing with burnout, or would you say it's a mix across the board of the stressors that they're dealing with in their life?
I think it's a mix. I think that people that are in the midst of burnout are not admitting that they're in burnout, or not seeking help.
Yeah.
So I either get people that are on the verge of it, that have, like, stopped kind of just right before, or just, like, on the verge of frying.
Yep.
Or people that have come out on the other side and have survived, but have survived by like toothpicks glued together kind of survival.
One hair sticking off their head. Like,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a matter of like giving them skills. I've worked with a couple nurses in crisis mode. It's tough because crisis mode is crisis mode. You know, it's a nest. Yes.
Yeah.
And so lots of times when you're going through burnout, you kind of just have to process that. That area. And not everyone wants to be touched in that space or listened to. Like, there is a part of it that is very ugly and personal that not everyone wants to have their hand held through. I would happily hold someone's hand through that.
Yeah.
But I think nurses in general are in survival mode, and they like to do that on their own. So I usually get them when they're coming out on the other side with their, you know, metaphorical dirty bandage, and they're like, I made it.
Right.
What were you saying about self-care?
I got through. I made it to the other side. Now please let me still survive to make it through. Yeah, for sure. It's like that burnout is the place and time. Again, like we were kind of talking about before, right? Like, most healthcares do reach their point. It's not all of them, but most do reach their limit because you give so much of yourself, and then how is that cup being refilled? And so to be able to, again, show them how to refill their cup, right? Like, as an individual, you know, as a whole person, how can you fill that toolbox and, you know, have these resources and ways that you can support yourself so that you don't have to come to burnout again, you know? Like, you can choose whatever you want, and that may or may not be the thing for you, right? But you don't have to give every single ounce of your being to it in order to have it be successful and just come out the way that you want it to. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Totally. I like that you said toolbox. It made me think, I've just been analyzing when I was an ICU nurse, and if I floated anywhere, I mean, I did health soup coverage, I did, you know, stat RN, I did med surg, I would float to cath lab, like I did a little bit of everything, and I had a carabiner that had a pair of trauma shears, forceps, and a roll of tape on there. Yeah. And like, I've just been laughing because I have a couple of these now that now that I'm not nursing, I realize that I have them kind of around my house. And it was like
oh, that's for this time.
Yes. And it's funny because if I had that, I knew, like, I'm good.
You're set.
Yes.
You have the necessities.
As long, like my stethoscope, and I got my, you know, my tools. Like, this is, I can make anything work with these things.
Yes. You have means on you to be able to do what you need to do for your job. Yes.
That, like, I know there's a glove somewhere in the hospital. I can do a lot with that, you know? And so to coach, you said toolbox. Yeah. It's amazing what you can do with breath work.
Beautiful, isn't it? Yes. Yeah, please.
If that is not in your toolbox for your patients, it should be.
For all of them. All of them, yeah.
Then if you just use it on yourself, like, it's hard to do. Right, I don't always do it either, but
that's where it's a practice, right? And it's a lifetime practice too. It's our breath. It's natural. It's going to be with us. It's the last thing that's going to go with us again. So it's like to know that we have control of that too, right? Like, it is something that kind of goes into the back of our mind and we don't think about, and we breathe. But then as the nervous system is stimulated and as our bodily functions and all the processes going inside are stimulated, yes, exactly, as they all start to take their form and do what they will, having that toolbox, having those ways of controlling the breath to bring those back down is so essential, essential, because how many times have you seen in your career where something happened, just like your codes, right? And all of a sudden you are skyrocket through the air. And I'm sure as you got seasoned, you were way more comfortable in this, but I can imagine the first couple of those were like, holy crap, what am I doing here? And like a little panic mode sets in of just like, you know, in that intensity in that moment, right? And so you were already doing the work. I'm sure you were already doing the work because you had yoga there before, right? Yeah. You were doing yoga, and so you knew a little bit about your breath, but I'm not sure, but the other people on your team, probably not every single person was doing yoga, right? And how could that have even benefited them in the moment? And how could that have benefited, you know, the patient sometimes in the moment for that calm and like clarity, right? So huge. The breath is absolutely it's everything. It's everything. Do you have any specific techniques that you like to use?
It depends.
Okay.
I like,
again, situational.
Yes,
do you feel?
Absolutely. Yeah. So being a CV nurse, like just obsessed with, you know, cardiovascular and blood pressure and all of it. And one of my favorite things to do is to lower someone's blood pressure with 6 deep breaths. And you take their blood pressure, especially if it's high. That's the best.
Yeah.
And then if I love doing this with patients, especially ones that don't believe it too. Like if you can truly get them, calm down.
Right. Yeah.
Bring your energy down here. Let's take some deep breaths.
Yeah.
And you can really bring that blood pressure down, like 10 to 20 points.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Diastolic and systolic. Like it's a diastolic's a little bit less. It's like 10, 10 to 15.
Right.
But still, it's pretty impressive.
It's a significant amount, nonetheless. It's a significant enough amount to know that it does work, right? To know that it does have some impact in regulation.
Yes. And I'm sure you guys think or hear about this a lot in the OR too, but like when you're coding a patient and you're doing a blood gas level and you're yelling out pHs and you're talking about acidity levels and you're talking about all of these things, you're trying to displace the CO2.
You're doing a multitude of things at one time.
We're trying to breathe for them.
Yeah.
That is CPR.
Yeah.
And it's wild to think how much we underuse that tool.
Right. Like we are literally using just to get that flow.
Yes.
It's a flow that never shuts off and you don't want it to shut off. And to know, kind of like a water faucet, right? We don't want to shut it off, but we don't need to have it full blast piping steam hot water either, right? Like where is that nice steady stream of flow so that we are regulated and grounded and balanced? And I would dare to say that you also see this as well, is that even teaching people about the breath don't even realize how much their breath is unregulated and uncontrolled, right? Until you bring them into that practice to kind of be like, calm, center, like let's just bring this energy back into self, back into body, right? And this goes into so many other things. I'm more of a biology foundation here, but to know that you have that tool in a moment when we're in 2025, about to be 26, right? And there's a big blue real world out there that your body doesn't know. I always like to say this too, right? Whether you're being chased by a lion or someone at the stop sign just blew past the light or whatever, and you don't realize, there's so many ways that you can bring control back, because now are you going to go drive and be afraid that like something is going to happen for the next hour of your drive because you just witnessed that, right? Like being able to control, we don't have control of everything, right? But what we do have control over, to use those tools, is all the impact. It's so foundational to who we are as human beings. So I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I do want to dive into your book a little bit more, just a little bit.
I have it in the other room. I don't know why.
It's okay. I was also going to bring my copy, and I didn't bring it in here either, but that's okay. So as you were utilizing writing to kind of help you with that emotional release, what were you finding in realizations about nursing and burnout? Because now you kind of had the moment, right, to sit and just be more present. You can't move. You can't take that anywhere else. It's just pen in hand. What were things that you started realizing about burnout writing the book that were only surfacing writing the book, but you were happening before, right? But you were only realizing as you started writing the book?
That's a heavy question. I feel like that question could have its own TV series, because I think it is tenfold. Yeah, it has been happening for so long. It has just been a gradual decline of self-care that has become acceptable. Yeah, and expected. Okay, of hospital staff. Yeah, and it's the price for entering. And it's the price for staying. And this is something I'm really diving into my next book. I'm writing 2 books. One is a professional book talking about the HOPE score, the HOPE assessment, and really how you show up to work. And that's more professional. My more memoir style is really peeling back the layers on the way that I self-medicated for a long time, just through partying, drugs, drinking, wild things that I did, just spending money, like the ways that I processed trauma. Yeah. Now I can look like that was all trauma. Yeah. because we didn't have any outlets. Nobody was like, hey, paint a picture. Let's talk about your feelings. You're like, no, I'm just going to go buck wild because I coded 16 people in the last 2 weeks. Like, you know, like no one tells you how to process that.
For sure.
And so that was all just like spewing out. It was a lot of anger and hatred for the healthcare system. I was pointing my finger very, very hard, very heavily, just ferociously. It took a while to peel that back more and look at my involvement in it. And the fact that I didn't have boundaries. Yeah. I chased the money too. Yeah. I chased the adrenaline. Right. I got high from saving someone's life. Yeah. So I went to work.
Yeah. Like the awareness of why you were doing everything, why you were showing up, and it really, it's at home, didn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
I was needed at where I was a great nurse. They needed me
for sure.
And while I was there, I mean, to no one's surprise, I imagine like I was a nurse that like at 2 a.m. it was coffee hour. Yeah. I had bought gourmet coffee. We were making it. Didn't matter who was coding anywhere. We were at least there was going to be coffee somewhere.
Yeah. To keep you up and keep you going.
And I made sure that everyone knew there was coffee and make sure to get coffee and go take a break. Yeah. That gets exhausting. Though. And so that was also a drug, like being needed and being there to help and like
that support for everyone else. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That's yes, that's good. And I don't want to change those things about me.
Of course.
But looking back now, at what point did I overgive? Yes. My boundary should have been a little bit more narrow. Not to say don't ever do it. And I think that's something we struggle with in this country. I struggle with this right now. I have so many people telling me not to help out my neighbors because they'll expect too much. Yeah. And it's just like, now we've gotten so afraid of helping that nobody's going to help.
That where is the balance between... No, I don't need to tell you to go kick rocks and I can't do anything for you, but also... I have my own life and my own things over here. Yes, I can give a little, but like I only have so much, and to not like take that at free will that I can just give all of myself in the moment. Yes. Boundaries are huge. Boundaries are massive, if you will. I don't even think huge does a detriment to what massive does, because that's kind of like the trick our mind plays on us, right? Is if I hold boundaries, now I'm not being a good person to someone else. And now that's stressing me out inside, right? To not show up how I want to show up.
Can I just interject? Because that goes right to the overtime.
Okay, yeah.
Right to overtime. Yes. First of all, my friends are on tonight. I know I've already worked 6. I worked my 3 from last week. I worked my 3 from this week because I was traveling. And I didn't stop. Yep. I know my friends are on. I know if I come in, I won't get the worst assignment.
Yeah, because you've already worked all those
days.
Yep.
Or I might have the open bed and get a crashing assignment that I'm not completely capable and mentally stable to take because I'm so exhausted. Oh, they're going to pay me time and a half. Plus there's a bonus. Not, Ashley, you need to sleep. Yeah. You've been sleeping less than 6 hours a day for the last 6 days. You've been running on adrenaline. You need to eat a real meal. Like, none of that.
Yeah. None of the personal things. It was, yeah.
And so just what you said there was just like, you just sell out to these other things. And it's so easy to just, well, I'm fine. And you're going to be fine all of your 20s. Right. You are going to be fine all of your 20s. I promise you. You've got a young, healthy body. It can take so much damage. It's insane.
So true.
You are going to feel fine in your 20s. But looking at my patients in the bed, they felt fine in their 20s too. Right. And I just have, like, I look around. There's not a lot of nurses like me. Everyone's cold and mean and yells at their patients. Yeah. And I'm a thick girl. Like, I need help turning over and rolling over in bed. And I just don't want a nurse snickering at me.
That is so
because I can't roll over in bed. And her shift is too strenuous already. And she's overworked. And she's got too much on her plate. And, of course, she doesn't need to help, a 40-something-year-old onto a bedpan. Yeah. So what's my part in it?
Right.
Did I do everything I could? And literally, this is what I think, to make that future nurse's life easier.
Yeah, that's huge. That's massive.
Because I don't think people understand how hard it is to be a nurse.
I think it's definitely, because no one sees it unless they're in it, right? Because I'm sure you've seen this as well. What bedside manner looks like compared to what a team collaborative working side looks like are two vastly different pictures. I won't say that's every single place, because sometimes those pictures very much align and look alike. But there are also a lot of places where that is not, and those
I would say the majority of places.
Yeah,
that's medicine. It's going that way.
It is. Yeah, it is, and that's why you're seeing so many younger people that are in their 20s right now, right? That are like, hey, this doesn't seem right. Like, this isn't how we should be living.
Right.
And something you saw that kind of was like, you want to be in bedside, but this is not what I see going on for the next 50 years, right? Like, we would love to be the nurses staying in bedside that are the seasoned, been there for 50 years. And that's a beautiful thing. But also, this is where we are with standing up for our boundaries, right?
Absolutely.
Like, instead of, I don't have any boundaries and I can just be treated any which way because you say so, that doesn't work for me, right? Like, I am here to serve and help the way I said that I would. And that doesn't mean that I give all of me and all the things that I can, and in return get just stomped into the ground. Like, you can only take so much of that, right? And so if we want to be able to heal and serve, this is where we do need to make those changes. And the impact that we're making right now, and that you listening to this can make into the future and into the world around you, people need that goodness, right? Like, we need a balance, and we need to we need to give boundaries where they're due, without letting that take away from the purpose of why we're there, right? And so that comes into self-care, right? The boundaries you have are for you, and that is creating a safe space for you inside so that you are able to pour from a fuller cup. And so, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
That was beautifully said.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Of course.
That's exactly what I want to give, is that we are called to do really crazy things in nursing and in medicine. And it's not the only way that we are meant to give. Everyone has their own art, their own craft that is their medicine to share with the world. And I truly believe that unless we're like taking care of ourselves, that art is not able to shine through. You know, you're just kind of a robot in scrubs at a hospital otherwise. And so learning to self-care, learning to get back to who you are, you get to find your real medicine. And then you get to help the world with your nursing background and your medicine. Whatever has healed you. And so
that full circle where you get to give as much as you receive. It's supposed to be a balance, because if you're giving to everyone else, right, like, you're also a human being that deserves to be given to. And so that ebb and flow and just coming to is where we really do find that peacefulness, right? That centeredness, and just things feel a little bit better. They don't feel so heavy. They don't feel like I have to hold all of this all the time. Like, balance is a beautiful word to ride on, but that absolutely. Is there anything else in the book that you would like readers to know?
Ooh, not in this one. The next one, I'm really peeling back the veil on just the fact that we're all on uppers and downers all day long. It doesn't matter where you get it from. Every doctor, like, and I really believe once we can start really self-analyzing and looking at the places where we're lying to ourselves and to each other, once we start caring for ourselves, that will ripple out. You were just talking about boundaries, and it's like, saying no and setting that boundary at work, your patients see that, your children see that, your siblings see that, like, people see that. And they go, wait, I can set boundaries for myself too. And this in turn, which hospitals, if you're listening, will lower your bottom line eventually. Like, you know what I mean?
I do.
It costs less.
It does.
You can still make money off of people still want plastic surgery. They still want all of the things.
They'll still come to do those things that society.
Yes, like, I'm not saying I'm never gonna end up in a hospital. God willing, I hope I don't.
Right.
But the truth is, and emergency medicine here is great. But what are you doing after?
Right.
The emergency, the trauma, how are you getting back to your self-care?
How do you go home and get back to the, center and get back to like being able to thrive and live in this world the way you want to live and do the things that you want to do? And it's like, that's where the practice starts before an emergency happens. And that doesn't mean that something couldn't happen literally in the next second, right? But the more we practice, the more when life does what it's going to do, that doesn't necessarily go the way we intended it for it to go, we can get back on track a little bit. Not quicker, I will say. Everyone has their own time and place, but there is a little ebb and a flow where it gets you back on track a little faster than it would have if you couldn't even find where the track was. We were just shooting in the dark, right? So the practice of just coming all together is absolutely what I think we want for all of our clients, right? Is that full transformation back to self, back to home, back to center, and back to the place that is feeling as much balance, poise, and grace as possible. Yeah.
It's beautifully put. That's what we want for people, yes.
Thank you. Now, as you have led in your book a little bit, and as...
An hour 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. So wrap it up. Okay, well, I was going to do a grounding practice. That's what I was going to do. Can you cut this part out? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to please guide us into one of your choice of a grounding practice that you would take your client through. Doesn't have to be very long, however long you would like, but something that our listeners can take with us today, that we can both have a moment together to connect and just come into this present moment. So if you would love to, I would love to, and I'll invite you.
Well, yes, I invite everyone to wherever you're sitting, just to get comfortable in your seat for a quick moment. Put your feet down. Feel supported in your chair. You can soften your eyes if you'd like, and if you don't feel comfortable, just find a soft place for your eyes to rest. Maybe on the carpet or the wall. Just allow your focus to calm down. And if you feel compelled to, you can put on a hand on your chest. And as you sit here, just feel your body naturally move. It functions, it breathes, it lives and thinks, it reacts, all without us trying. And now from here, after listening to today's podcast, if something is jumping out at you that you would like to focus on, maybe it's breath work, maybe it's just self-care, boundaries, fitness. I'll give you a moment to focus on something that feels right for you. And with your intention, and if your hand is on your chest or on your body in any kind of way, just give it a little pressure. Now inhale, thinking of your intention. Each inhale, just imagine bringing more life to the word, making it a little bit brighter or bigger. And with each exhale, I want you to just imagine releasing little things from you that aren't serving you right in this moment. Continue to take a couple breaths, thinking of your intention and releasing anything that is not needed right now. And together in a moment, we're going to take a collective breath. Release any air that you have, and when you're ready, we're going to breathe in together. Inhaling for all of our intentions and purpose and positivity. Hold at the top for a moment. Just know you're strong and you can do this. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and release the air. You can release your hands and down and your feet, and you can open your eyes if you'd like. But if you need one more breath, go ahead and just deeply breathe in and release. Whenever you're ready, you can wiggle your toes and your fingers and open your eyes.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Thank you for that. That was wonderful. So, one last question before we wrap up today. If you had to tell our listeners and anyone out in the world, what is one thing that you think everyone should know about the nervous system that they probably do not know?
Mm-hmm. Your breath work is more powerful than you think.
Beautiful. Absolutely it is. Thank you for that. Where can people find you?
I am on social media, TikTok and Instagram at justanurse_RN, and you can find me at ashleymchancellor.com.
Beautiful. Thank you for being here with us.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode, for connecting with us. If you feel so called and this episode resonated with you, please share this with a woman that dreams, believes, and wants a bigger and brighter future. One little ripple effect today makes a huge wave tomorrow. Thank you for being here. I'm Coach Meg with Rhythm Wellness.